We're at Cafe 210, and it's Monday, isn't it?
Monday.
Darn right. And Monday, I have my pastor, Pastor Karl Schaefer.
And I have my pastor, Pastor John, with me.
Okay. Or your chaplain.
Chaplain.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah, it goes both ways. And you know, it was really interesting because when you came here, you got engulfed by quite a few people. You did. Now, you made one mistake you made going into that room. There's a knitting club that meets here every Monday, and they love seeing you.
They've met here for years.
And then a couple other people here wanted to yak with you, and we were in the prayer room, but we came out here, and so a lot of people wanted to engage with you, but now you're with me. And I said, we were always told you always had to be prepared a minute's notice to give your testimony, to give your relationship with Jesus. We got to be ready because you never know when somebody's going to ask you. Well, Karl, Pastor Karl, what's your testimony? What's your relationship with Jesus?
How long do I have?
You got whatever.
2 minutes or less? Is this the short?
No. Actually, this could be the 10 or 15 minute version.
No, we don't need 10 or 15.
Okay. Well, already we went longer than a minute because I've been yapping too much. But go ahead. Yeah.
I actually can't really remember a time in my life when
you know what? I'm going to let you go on, but I can't either when that's because it's almost like we grew up in it.
Yeah.
I remember there's certain points in our life where a theophany moment. Sure. So go ahead. Yes, I can't either.
I don't remember a time in my life when I didn't necessarily know that God was present or existed. And that's nothing to say for me. I think it's for my family. Mm-hmm. You know, my parents, especially my mom, was the one who really instilled this natural idea that God is part of your life.
Wow.
And God is part of everything we do in our whole experience. So she really helped me see that that's just what life is like. Wow. And so she modeled faith. She modeled reading the Bible. She modeled living a Christ-like life. Even though she didn't talk about it all the time in those terms, she helped me see that that's just a life faithfully lived.
I think Gail's done that for our kids too, but go ahead. Yeah.
So that's just the frame in which I grew up.
Wow.
But there was a moment when I was a teenager, when I was 15, when I did have that moment of Christ said, no, you need to make a decision for yourself.
Wow.
And you need to let me know that decision. And then that's going to be a milestone that you can stand on for your faith for the future. And so when I was 15, I at a summer camp, I prayed to give my life to a new level to Jesus. Wow. And I prayed actually with somebody who was my babysitter growing up, and she was also a youth leader at the time, and just ran into her, funny enough, last summer. Hadn't seen her in probably 30 years, and she heard my voice from across a patio, and she said, I know that voice. And we connected and we talked for hours. It was a special time, great conversations. But it was that point in my life that there was something specific that actually changed in my life. You know, I knew God my whole life. I knew the experience of church, and I had models of trying to live like Jesus. But there was something that changed in my life after that moment of giving my life to Jesus. I grew up as a fairly shy person, like 90% shy.
You're an introvert, wouldn't you say?
I was an introvert.
Yeah, because Gail, go ahead. Yeah.
And, probably I still am. I don't know. We could measure that. But when I was a child, I was introverted. I was shy. It was a challenge. And so I didn't venture out to do a lot of new things. I held back. I shuddered at a lot of new experiences and joining new groups and other things. It was hard, I remember, in some ways. But when I gave my life to Jesus over the next few years, it wasn't just immediate, but it was over the next few years, my personality changed.
Wow.
And I attribute it to that experience, that moment, and Jesus coming into my life to shape me in some ways into who I am and who I will be.
Did you get any moment about going into ministry?
It wasn't until right before college. So if that was 15,
See you later.
if that was 15 years old, then we're talking 3 years later that I got an inkling about ministry. But I didn't anticipate that. I didn't sense that until that point of right before college, and it was, I think it was largely because I declared my major before I went to college, and once I did, I realized that's not what God was calling me to do.
What was your declared major?
Biology.
Oh, really?
I was going to be a geneticist.
Really?
I wanted to explore the genome.
How interesting.
Yeah, I was really into biology,
and then no, God's gonna, no. I mean, how interesting.
I got there the first day of classes. I realized this is not what I am built to do, and so I scratched that biology major. I signed up for a history major, and then about 6 months later, I added religious studies to that, and I was super excited.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, and well, okay. Jesus to you is who right today. So that's where you've been. Who's Jesus for you today?
Jesus is my companion with whom I walk in step, or try to walk in step. I mean, I love that we talk at church about stepping into our faith, stepping into everything. And that's just sat with me for these past few years, that I'm striving and failing to walk in step with Jesus. There's that passage about walking in step with the Spirit that Paul calls us to walk in step with the Spirit. I'm strive to walk in step with Jesus.
Now we're going to do a little plug on our church, because it's our church. We meet at River Cross, and where are we meeting today?
So we're meeting in one of the oldest schoolhouses in the county where we are in Visalia, and it is a 113-year-old building. It is like walking back in time, and it is a neat space to be able to encounter some history, but also encounter Jesus.
And we meet on our worship times Sunday at 9:30.
Yep.
Yeah, and be prepared to be hungry, because the guy preaches a long time. No, he doesn't.
Not much longer than this.
Not much longer. Carl's about a 15, 20, and Carl, it was interesting because one person that you met with today asked, how do you prepare sermons, And I would call you a relational preacher. Definitely the word is important to you. It really is. It's based on the word. But it's not so much you're preaching at us. What you're saying, hey, here's the journey I'm on. I want to invite you to come on the journey.
Well, like I was telling that person that I was just talking to, there's a question that is at the middle of hopefully every message that I have the opportunity to give. And if that question doesn't matter to me and my faith, it's just not worth doing. And certainly sometimes it's more poignant than others, but if it doesn't matter to me, I'm not as invested to be able to share that and explore that with everybody.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. This is so cool. But I had to put this plug in. By the way, the message last Sunday was really good, but I did that as a YouTube under a minute. I just thought I'd tell you that.
Yeah, I heard that. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. No, but if you want to see the full, by the way, they can see about our church. It's on our webpage, right?
It's on my page, YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's it. Okay. All right, here's what we're going to sign off. I want to thank you guys for watching, and Karl, I'm going to say thank you. And you're just going to say Chaplain Chat. That's all you got?
That's right.
Here you go. I want to thank you guys for watching, and Karl, thank you for being on
Chaplain Chat.
And I'm shaking your hand.